So here we are. You all asked for it, so here we go. A side-by-side comparison of two of the most buzzed about new foundations in the clean beauty space. So first up we have the Kosas foundation, which is called the Revealer Foundation. And then we have the Fitglow Beauty Foundation, which was just recently reformulated. So this one you can get on their website and at Sephora. And then Fitglow, you can also get on their website and that at other retailers like Citrine, Integrity Botanicals, and other independent beauty retailers. So I wore them side by side yesterday, and I definitely thought I had a favorite until end of the day. They pretty much wore the same, but at the beginning and middle of the day, there was definitely one that jumped out to me, and I think you guys will see it on this video as we go. So first up, I'm gonna go over the ingredient differences on these. So the Kosas ingredient list isn't quite as skincare heavy as the Fitglow one. So on here we have water as the main ingredient, which is super important to know because when you have water in a formulation, bacteria can grow. So you definitely want to make sure you just pump this onto your hand and use it with a brush or your fingers because you don't want to be introducing bacteria. Not a big deal. A lot of foundations are water-based foundations, but it's just definitely something you want to know. And then it does, big difference, this has sunscreen in it. So this has in here zinc oxide and it's SPF 25. There is no sunscreen in this. Not a deal breaker because I typically wear a separate sunscreen, but for those that like it built in, I would give the win to Kosas on that. And then we have ingredients like ethyl olivate, we have polyglycerol, we have glycerin, we have mica. Mica is going to give it a little bit more of light reflector. But mica does have some ethical issues with sourcing, so you want to make sure you're using a company that does very ethical sourcings of mica. Some sourcing of mica can use child labor, and it's very, very dangerous. Calcium sodium bisaurate, I'm not saying that right at all. It does have niacinamide, which is going to help to brighten the skin. Then we have some other non-pronounceable ingredients. We have some stabilizers like propanediol in here, cetyl alcohol, squalene, which I'm assuming is a vegan form of squalene, knowing that it's Kosas, and then sodium hyaluronic, which is hyaluronic acid, which helps to bind moisture to the skin. And then we have panthenol, which is a skin conditioner, and we have other ingredients like maltodextrin, sodium glucinate. It does have peptides in it. It has tripeptide 5 in here. And then it has a vitamin E derivative, and then of course iron oxides and colorants as well. So those types of words to pronounce versus when I go over to the Fitglow foundation, we have a base of castor seed oil. Don't let that fool you. Castor seed oil is very gentle to the skin. We have grapeseed oil. All of this also is organic, just so you know. So it's organic grapeseed oil, organic jojoba, and jojoba is incredible on the skin because the skin almost recognizes it as its own oil. So it's very, very nourishing. Then we have organic heart leaf, organic sunflower seed wax, which is going to create kind of like a little buffer on the skin. We have carnubia wax. We have organic green tea leaf extract. There is water in here, but it's further down on the list. But again, water, important to know. Remember, if there's water present, bacteria can grow. That's going to come into play when we talk about how we apply this. This has licorice root extract to brighten the skin. It has a vitamin C, which is sodium sorbate. Vitamin C, it has fermented extracts, it has organic bamboo juice, it has glycerin to give that kind of slip to the skin. It has one of my favorite ingredients, gotu kola extract, and some other like bearberry in here, radish root, all of those things. When we get to how it is made, there is different forms of iron oxides in here too with the colorants. Now, yes, this is much easier to pronounce. The skincare heavy ingredients, these are more kind of like wear-based ingredients. And sometimes people might say, oh, well, obviously get the one that has the skincare ingredients. But just so you know, when you're using a foundation, you've already put on all of your skincare. So that many actives should actually be in your serum steps or in your essences or in your moisturizer, because the closer it is to your skin, the more it's going to penetrate. So if you've already put on serums and moisturizers and oils and sunscreens and primers, by the time you get to your foundation, the chances of that actually absorbing into your skin and actually getting a benefit from something like a bearberry extract or a licorice root, I don't know. I don't know. I've talked to like a lot of different esthetician friends and stuff, and they're like, it's nice to have, but is it really going to make a difference? Because it's not like you're just washing your face and putting foundation on. There's a lot of layers in between those. So I don't know. But it is nice to have wonderful ingredients that you pronounce and know where they come from, if that's your thing. So now let's look at packaging. Huge difference in these. Okay, so the Kosas packaging, they're all the same. They're all about 1 ounce. It's a traditional pump, and yes, I've used this, so it's a little messy, versus a very different type of packaging on the Fitglow. I just ripped the box here, but such is life. So the Fitglow package, if it ever comes out, and again, they're also all glass. I mean, it's a beautiful package, all glass, but the application method is a doe foot. The reason why I'm not a big fan of the doe foot is because they expect you to apply it by wiping it on your face and then dipping it back in. So we talked about water being present in the formulation. If water's present, bacteria can grow. So if you have any type of bacteria on your skin and you dip it back in, the bacteria can grow within your foundation. That's not the most hygienic, sanitary thing. I am prone to some types of breakouts, etc. I don't love that. So I'm gonna always use a brush when I use this foundation. This is a traditional pump. So the colors are very, very, very close. I try to get as close as possible. So I'm 2.5 in the Fitglow for reference, and I am, where is my shade? I am, drumroll, light neutral 140 in the Kosas. So let's get into it. Let's get a little brush and get it on the face, and we can see how it wears. I will say that depending on the type of finish you like, you are definitely going to have one that's a favorite versus another. So I am 42 years old. I like to have more of a glow to my skin. This is my obviously unfiltered, showered face. My hair's still wet. So you can see like my issues are definitely like uneven skin tone throughout, a little bit of redness. Definitely we have like some lines happening. And so I want to look light, bright, and awake. So this is a Kosas that we're going to start with. So for the Kosas is a pump. I absolutely opened that wrong. So here we go. So I'm going to pump a little bit on the back of my hand. And then we're going to take just a regular little foundation brush. You can use any type of brush you like. If you like a sponge, if you like a beauty blender. I'm just going to apply it throughout. And then I'm flipping the brush so that I don't get too much on the skin. And I would say that what I noticed about this foundation is that it blends in really quickly into your skin, and it gives nice coverage without being too heavy. I do think that it wore just a little bit longer maybe than the Fitglow, but by about hour 4 or 5, the finish of it wasn't obviously as fresh as it normally would be, which is pretty typical for a foundation unless you're using like a super long wear. And I am taking this right under my eye just for this video and on my eyelid. I would normally use a primer, but we're gonna do that. So you kind of see how it covers pretty nicely to start. So there's skin without and there's skin with. And you see how it has kind of that bounce of the light, this reflecting light coming in my window. Like I like that. I like that luminosity. I don't always want to have to mix in a highlighter. I like that glow. As we get older, to me, it's all about adding light and color back into the skin because we lose that nice, juicy, bouncy, buoyant skin. So now let's do the Fitglow. So I'm wiping my brush off. Okay, Fitglow foundation is that doe foot we talked about that I do not love. I don't love that idea, but such is life. So I'm just taking a little bit and rolling it on the back of my hand to do the same application with the same brush because for fairness sake, it should be the same brush. So very similar color here. And again, you're seeing that it eliminates the redness, the undertone that I have in my skin. This is just slightly more yellow in undertone than my Kosas. So it's not like the exact same shade, but like, I don't think you can tell that I have different color foundations on from this. And both of these like toned down within like an hour of wearing. So it's like not like if you look at my chest, it's like not like the perfect match in either one of them because it's so hard when ordering online. But it's really close, like close enough to get away with wearing, you know? In terms of like how it feels on the skin, I definitely felt the Kosas more than the Fitglow. So that can be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on what you like. Okay, so now when you look at this, like it does have a little bit of the light, but if you look at side by side, I don't know if we're gonna be able to pick it up. Here's the Fitglow, here's the Kosas. The Kosas through here to me is a little bit more light absorbing and not quite as bouncing the light as we have here. I do think that the Kosas is slightly more natural looking as well. Obviously, I've like not put concealer on. We have not set either one of these, but this is just kind of like right out the gate what we're looking at. I'm gonna add under eye concealer. I'm using my Hint Beauty, which is one of my favorite under eye concealers because it never creases or runs. You know how everybody's saying right now, like only put concealer here. It's so much more youthful. That's like such a lie. I don't know who started that, but brightening in this kind of center of your eye is one of the best things you can do to kind of just look fresh and awake and modern. And adding like extra texture where we can get those crinkles and wrinkles, like the least amount of concealer there is what I personally recommend. And then we're just gonna pop on a teeny tiny bit of blush. I love my Mob Beauty palette. Shout out to Mob. These cream clay brushes are phenomenal. I know it looks crazy, right, when I put it on? So just kind of, so you can kind of see how creams go on top very easily on both. But I will say that my cheek color lasted longer on the Fitglow side than it did on the Kosas side. That could just be a coincidence, but I did notice that my makeup just looked slightly fresher on that side at the end of the day. But I'm not knocking the Fitglow at all. Like I think the Fitglow like is beautiful. It's just not quite as luminous as I personally like. I'm a little bit drier. So I think maybe like in the summer I would like it, and it's just slightly too gold for my skin, but they're very, very similar. So if you would rather have more skincare actives in your foundation, then I would say the Fitglow is gonna be for you. If you want something that's a little bit more luminous, I would say then that the Kosas is gonna be good for you. My child is calling, but here you go. You can kind of see. So again, this is Fitglow, and then that's Kosas. Hope this helped.